Hi, this is the comparison between the Doctor's previous edition and the comparison between the current edition. So we're going to start off by having a look at the Warden. Now, in the last video we had a look at this guy. You can see him there. He's the Warden from the current edition by TT Combat. So you get a base, you have the Warden model, and you have the arms that come with that model. Now this was replaced by this model here, and instantly you can see the size difference. There is a definite scale difference between this model and the previous model. So there we go, there's the arms there, and there's the previous model. So we can see this guy almost looks like Frankenstein compared to the previous model, and we can see he's got this bizarre head cowl on, this hat, this protective coat, and then he's got a padded quilted jacket at the back there. He's got padding on his arms and a club, and if I turn these over we can then see the same on the other side. Now first of all, that is a massive difference in scale. This guy looks imposing and intimidating. This looks like his smaller brother, and although on the gaming table, yeah, they do the same thing, this guy is probably needs replacing by this one, in my opinion, unless you're into this aesthetic of that particular head or helmet design on there. So let's move these to one side and have a look at the other models and see how they rack up. So what we've got then is, shall we go to the Madmen next? So we've got our two Madmen that we saw in the earlier video. There we go, there's the pieces from those models there, and you can see then these are the replacements. Now the scale on these models are comparable. Yeah, the scale from one to the other is pretty close. Like I said, they're slightly larger than new ones, but you could probably get away with these models. Aesthetically, however, the models are very, very different. If you have a look at there, that is a very old sculpting style that we just don't see anymore in modern sculpting, and while there's a lot of people still sculpting to this standard, I think the new models from TT Combat have actually transcended that skill level and moved on to the next stage. So if you do have these models, I wouldn't have any problem with anyone playing with them, playing against them. But these are definitely better quality resin models with a better aesthetic. Let's move on to the next set. So then let's move on to the Plague Doctor. So the original model that we've got, there's the torso there, and we've got the extra arms and leg pieces there. So there's a lot of little bits that go with this model. Oh, that's from something else that we're going to have a look at in a minute. So there we are, we've got the head, the heart, the arms, the legs and the torso. Well, you can see that from the previous video. Just get that into shot there, so you can have a look at it. Now this is the original model, the original Doctor model, the Plague Doctor, and it comes as a two-part build. You've got the arm and the model there. Slight aesthetic difference in the hat. I prefer the new one, but overall, size-wise, let's just move these other pieces out of the way. You can see they're roughly around the same size, shoulder to waist there. So scale-wise, I don't think there's a problem with this model. Let's do a comparison on the arm length. So we've got like an arm there and an arm there, not too dissimilar in length there. So I think scale wise the models are comparable. It's just whether you like this older aesthetic compared to the newer, more dramatic look and the better pose of the new one. I'd be quite happy to play against these. I'd be happy to play against anyone with these models, and if anyone wants to turn up for a game at Homeforth Gaming Centre, I'll be quite happy to just have a game with them. And by the way, that's where this set came from, and I believe they might have more retro models in stock, so if you want to go and look them up, they'll be happy to help you there. So let's go on to the next one. So the next one then we've got, or the last one actually, we've got the Doctor of the Arsenal. You can just about see him in detail there, and we can bring his legs into shot, and the gun. Now the gun is the bit I'm least pleased about, so let's see how that compares up to the previous one. So here's the model itself in metal and with a gun, and it has a larger backpack this time that looks a little like a household boiler. So there we go, we'll have a look at that. That wants to roll to there, and a pipe that I'm sure I'd probably lose because I don't look after my models as well as I should have. Again, measuring scale, shoulder to waist, about the same there, I'd have said, on camera. Not as dynamic, but I think the model aesthetically is very, very similar. Yeah, very similar. Hat sort of size. The backpack would fit onto the torso. Let's have a look, see if we can sort of line that up. There's a nice little sort of griffin logo on the back there. I think that would fit into there like that, and it becomes quite a large model then. Not sure I've got that lined up properly there. There we are. So that sort of fits in there like that, and that way we've got what the model looks like, and there the pipe would come down to the weapon that sits in there. This then would slot into there. Needs a lot of cleaning up to get that to fit nicely, but there we are. That's what the weapon would look like in comparison to this one here, which is not too dissimilar. I think this is the one I prefer, the one on the right. So yeah, so do feedback and let me know what you think of the new models compared to the old, and if you do want to pick some of these retro models up, do get in touch with Homeforth Gaming Centre. I'm sure they'll be able to oblige. So thanks very much. Bye.